All right, a very good morning. You are watching West Nile Television. This is the Kokoliriko show that comes every Monday to Friday. Today is the Thursday edition of the Kokoliriko show. We are 11 minutes past 7 a.m. My name is Federick Dramadri, and we have so many issues that we'll be really discussing. Remember, this is a topical show, and in this platform, we actually discuss a lot of issues that happen within the region, but also we move to the national and move up to some of the issues that are happening globally. And you will be aware that a lot of things are happening, and also we are receiving a lot of heavy rain that is coming in our region. But also, what are we doing with the rain? But also other things will be able to follow up. And remember, today is the day for the International Day of Disaster Reduction. We are making sure that we do all it takes in order to reduce disaster impacts. And this day is actually remarkable in the world to really look at the issues of climatic nature, issues of environmental nature, things that devastate the environment, things that affect the human beings, things that affect every and each person in terms of the human activities, in terms of other things like the earthquake, landmasses, and so on. These are the things that we'll be really focusing on. But also looking at other issues, we will really be able to unpack them here on this show that is here on Kokoliriko. And you must be aware that for those who want to really do business with West Nile Television, we are on Zuku and also other platforms, and this is where you can really be able to trade with us. And you can dial the number 0765 282281, and that is where you can be able to reach the management, but also talk business. Or you can use the other platform, that is the email account, which is West Nile TV station at gmail.com. That's where you can be able to formally place maybe a request or really have a chat with the management of this television. We are located on Weatherhead Park Lane on plot number 39A, which is in Arua City. So for those who do not know where West Nile Television is located, that is where you could be able to really locate us. If you can use your Google Maps, if you can use even you talk to any border rider in the city, you'll be able to really be able to escorted to West Nile Television stations. And we are here well and openly. You'll be able to pass. That's when you are using this road, you'll be able to really see that banner with West Nile Television at the gate, and you'll be able to see what is happening. A lot of lighting is there at the gate. You should be able to identify which way to go, and that's very important for those who want to do businesses, for those who have other issues to discuss with the management and also meet the staff. You should be able to appreciate that that is the only way you'll be able to reach West Nile Television. But also those who are watching us within Arua City, I say thank you very much. But not forgetting some of the key persons who are always there. The senior citizens. I talk about Jafar Alekwa, who is the clerk to council, Lugarakari. He is always there in touch. And also talk about Peter Dibele, retired civil servant who has served in this country for quite a long period of time. I'll never forget Harold Atsema, the political scientist and also a retired ambassador who is currently the head of recruitments at Terego District Local Government. I live to remember some of you, and those whom I have not mentioned in Arua City who are always there working hard and really watching West Nile Television. We appreciate you for always being in part and partial of the discussions that we have here, but also helping the nation understand what needed to be done, and also really guiding the people on how they should live a long life that you have ever lived. But also people within Madiokolo district. I'm very happy that you had a very remarkable International Day of the Girl Child, and this was really something that started earlier with preparations, including the Children Council that sat last week in Madiokolo District Headquarters, the Council Hall, very big building that has been constructed under the Dr. Deep project. Remember that building costed 3 billion Ugandan shillings, and a lot of things happened there. Remember yesterday there were a lot of issues to do with the plights of the children, specifically talking about the girl child. How has the nation taken up the issues to do with the girl child seriously? Remember, the president earlier on during COVID pandemic said, much as some of these girls may conceive, conception or pregnancy is not a disease. We should send them back to school. Even if they are pregnant, schools should be able to admit them. But we have seen many other young girls languishing at home because the parents have declined to give them support to go back to school just because they have conceived. Remember, the culture here in Western region is that once you have conceived, most times the cultural aspect talks about this person who has conceived should not deliver at their ancestral home. He or she should deliver at the husband's place. And this has been really one thing that is hardly fought by government, and so there's need really to ensure that a lot of things are done around this area of changing the mindset, and also looking at killing off some of the harmful cultural practices that bar the raising in a good way the girl child. Remember, this is so serious. If we cannot really do that, we will really continue to lose or derail the future of the girl child. And the boy child seems not to be also now picking well. We have seen a lot of criminalities where the boy child is involved from the age of 8. And in a rural remand home, the smallest child who has committed a crime, who has been remanded there, is 8 years, and that means we have a challenge in order to look at the aspect of parenting. What is lacking? Because if you look at a child of 8 years, and this child is able to kill the one that is 0 years, that means there's something that is going wrong. Parents are not doing enough in sensitizing. What kind of parenting should we instill in our children? That are some of the things we need to really look at. Okay, we saw the parenting guideline that was disseminated by Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development since 2022. Up to now, this has not been disseminated to most of the communities, and talk about local governments. Even right now, if you go to the Community Services Department, you never see some of these documents, but they are there on the website of Ministry of Gender and Labor and Social Development. What are they there for? Because there are so many people who are not ready to read from these social media platforms and or talk about the websites. It is very, very important that we have face-to-face interactions with the community and tell them these are some of the things that they are supposed to really follow if we want to really move further. But also talking about other issues that are happening elsewhere, you will realize that in Obongi district, a lot of issues to do with poor road network infrastructure generally is really affecting socio-economic transformation projects. I talk about the youth livelihood, talk about now the PDM, the Paris development model that is being rolled out. And you realize that in Obongi, it is quite difficult for people to access some of these services. One of the gaps is to do with internet connection. Remember, this country had pledged that she is going to ensure that every part of this country is connected to digital internets, and the access to internet has just been limited to urban centers, and some of these just because of the problems to do with the infrastructural development. Talk about electricity, talk about the issues to do with the availability of land, and also talk about road network where there is no a clear road to access certain places, it becomes very hard. But also extension of internet services needed the Ministry of ICT to really do a lot in terms of moving to some of these local governments. We have seen government using the meter use and so on, those kind of internets, and also the local area networks, okay? These ones that are connected within an institution, they have been using this in order to make sure that people perform, okay? We have seen in Arua City there, and also Maracha and the other districts within the region that are already having the meter use and also the local area networks through the Wi-Fi and so on. So many of them are being accessed. But you realize that some of the districts are not really totally connected to internet, although some of the partners have been able to bring them routers and so on. And talk about the issues of electricity. This is also another issue that has limited the use of technology in some of these districts, and that is where we feel like it needed an urgent attention, because people are complaining that they cannot even put the beneficiaries of PDM into the system because they don't have electricity, they don't have also the technology available, okay? Those are some of the things that are really hitting hard the leadership of Obonge district. Once this is sorted, I think that will be really able to solve the issues of PDM. Remember, the manual distribution of these monies could lead government into a big loss, because you will not really be able to track some of these farmers. But also looking at the issues of multiple borrowing, some of the beneficiaries might benefit 2 or 3 times. But if it is electronically monitored, this can be scrapped off, and that is very, very important. If we can really do that, it can help us in a long run. But also moving to Terego district, remember the Independence Day celebrations were so much popularized by some of the talks by politicians about the bridging unity between the neighboring districts and also the leadership of the district. Talk about the conflict, the everlasting conflict that has existed between Terego and Madiokolo. This was the day that they felt they should be able to remind people about those insurgencies. Remember, there were so many people who got injured in those conflicts along the borderline, but up to now, this border conflict has not been resolved. It has caused a lot of issues to do with maladministration, the issues to do with delayed service delivery, and also affected the implementation of the Paris development model. Some of the people do not know where they belong as of now, but also really moving to some of the local governments. Others decline to register them to benefit under this program. And those are some of the things that happened over this work. And also talking about Koboko district and also municipality generally, there is an outbreak of the askari worms that is really affecting the maize plantations in Koboko district. That is one thing the production department has raised a red flag over, and also has tasked the farmers really to use the available resources. Talk about use of soda ash to also spray the maize, and also using your own urine, okay? You can urinate and pack it in a jerrycan, and after it lasting for 14 days, that is 2 weeks, but also you add prepiri, okay, the red pepper onto the urine, and be able to spray the maize and tomatoes with it. And that is one way the production officer has guided farmers to use in order to really eliminate the askari worms. But also there's other worms that affect the tomatoes, and this is really something that we need to really do very, very fast, because if we lose all the plantation, we will not be able to fight against hunger. Remember, the food insecurity has the food insecurity and price fluctuation. Remember, the income levels have always been oscillating between 0 and somebody getting up to 5,000 in a day. And this is something that is hitting people hard and making the move away from low income status to middle income status a very hard goal for Uganda. Remember, if we want to move further, we need to fight each and every gap, okay, bridge all those gaps in order to really move somewhere further. Remember, because of the devastating hunger and also poverty levels among the people in Uganda, you realize that most of the people, according to the social protection index that was released in 2021, you realize that 24.1% of the Ugandans are very, very poor, and they cannot access any social protection in any way or in any platform, because we have seen so many social protection measures that have been put and interventions, including the youth livelihood, including the WEP, including the persons with disability empowerment programs, and also other programs that have targeted the vulnerable Ugandans. But these have not been really benefiting the people so much, and we realize that financing social protection in Uganda has been one of the least African countries in terms of implementing the social protection strategy. Remember, we all signed the commitment to protect the vulnerable persons and also make sure that their lives change. And all the Organization of African Union member states, with Uganda inclusive, signed this MOU in 1999, okay? All this targeting the elevation of poverty and also ensuring that community social lives are improved, including the economic way of life. And this is where we needed really much attention. If we are not financing social protection ventures that we have, the programs that we have, we will not really be able to move very far. But also the impact of these projects has not been really felt so much. What do we need to do? We need really a lot of sensitization, but also amid the sensitization, do we prepare the persons who are supposed to benefit from this kind of protection measures that we are bringing? Because we have the issues to do with giving people loans, giving people grants, and so on. But how far have we achieved from giving all this kind of monies to the people? Have they yielded any fruit? We have other platforms like the Operation Wealth Creation that has now disappeared in the mouths of many people. But this was a project that came and really established a lot of interventions. Talk about value addition facilities, talk about distribution of seedlings, animals, and many other things. And the returns are not really seen as so much, and this is where we need to really move further and derive other alternatives of delivering social protection programs, okay, to empower the persons that are there to benefit from them. And also looking at other issues that happen within the region, you realize that we hosted a lot of international games or games that are also within Uganda. But what have we learned from this? Talk about the MDD. Talk about the Paralympics. Okay, many of these games came to West Nile region, specifically Arua City. But there's been the issues to do with low turnout of the local communities to come and watch these games. Where have we tapped it wrong, especially the leadership? Because we have not seen them marketing some of these kind of things. You have to sell certain ideas to the people for them to really also own them. Because if you cannot really reach the people who are supposed to support in making sure that the activities run smoothly, trust me, such things will be registered as a failure and will not achieve the target, the intended targets of why it is brought to our areas. And this will be a signal to indicate to us that we need to improve on the strategy of also engaging the stakeholders. You have all the media platforms that you are supposed to really reach and really able to disseminate information, because you cannot go door to door to inform people about what is happening. Instead, I show only a road drive once on the day of hosting these games, and yet people needed to be prepared earlier. You cannot ambush people just abruptly like that. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be able to really move to other issues that are happening in the country, but also looking at some of the issues that need urgent attention. We'll be able to discuss them here. Let's take a break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. We are the passion you've been waiting for! It's Yunus Junior Santamu! It's our league, our football, our boys, our style. Start Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it! What a finish from Ashraf! The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL, our league, go for it. West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
That commercial break, remember earlier on we were discussing so many issues that happen local here in Western region, but now let's step an inch from Western region, but also look at some of the issues that have happened nationally. Remember yesterday MPs were in proposal that we need to start using contraceptives. Okay, the teenagers are supposed to start using contraceptives at the age of 15. Okay, that is what now the parliamentarians are trying to bring up. They propose that use of contraceptives among the children from the age of 15 will help in bridging the issues of teenage pregnancies. But we've seen so many people reacting to that proposal and saying it is very, very immoral, and also it is fighting against the rights of the children, talking about the issues to do with consent. Okay, children who are supposed to consent are supposed to be children who have already attained the age of 18. When they are now in that youthful age, they are supposed to be the ones who are supposed to use this kind of contraceptives. Remember, the use of contraceptives involves consent, involves also the age, looking at whether you will be able to use it properly, okay, appropriately. We have seen the issues to do with the use of condom. People have been using condoms, even children started using it as balloons, others are using it in different ways they feel. But is this really something that is or something that is going to help? But remember, following the recent statistics released by Uganda Demographic Health Survey report, and which was really indicating that Uganda's teenage pregnancy cases have risen to 24%. That means 24% of the Ugandans teenagers who have conceived, okay, that is teenage pregnancy cases. But also out of this 24%, you remember West Nile is at 15, okay, at 15, and this is where we have issues. This is where we have issues. Other regions are there, but also we have this coming to us. What is the immediate remedy that we should have? Remember, during COVID-19, we had registered 36% as the cases of teenage pregnancies over the years. Remember, in 2021, that was the shooting age, okay, the limit of teenage pregnancies. But now, the MPs are proposing that we should start using contraceptives. The contraceptives may be the use of pills, the use of different other methods, talking about the implants, the pills, the condom use, the other things, and so many of them. There are other injectable drugs that are there that are supposed to be injected in these children. What is the reaction of this to the girl child or the boy child? I don't know if they are also going to introduce these other methods of permanently removing the testicles of the boy child. I don't know if that is going to also be working. Remember, it has been also there. So that means if we are rolling out this, those are the things that we'll be able to see among the young children. So do you concur with the MPs, or you are not in support of that proposal? And this proposal is subject to scrutiny, and also the president has to really consent to it or assent it before it is passed and really recommended for usage, okay? That proposal came, but also one of the members of parliament of Amuru district, that is Lucia Kello, was really so furious about that proposal that was brought before the deputy speaker. If you look at our constitution, a person is asked a consent or is supposed to stand alone when he or she is above 18 years of age. And that's why most times we have children who are not taken to court, okay? Children are not supposed to be taken to court, and we prioritize diversion, case diversion, to taking these children to high court, or even if they have done criminal offenses, they are not taken to high court, but their cases are either diverted or they are remanded, okay, for them to be taught what they should be doing. But if we are introducing the use of contraceptives at 15 years of age, that means we are moving away from the rule of the law, okay, the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, that is the 1995 Constitution, which clearly indicates that a child is the best person, actually the best person to be asked consent about a child is the parent or the guardian. And if you are starting to roll out contraceptive use among the children, that means you have to ask the parent, not really the child. So this to her, this proposal is very, very illegal, and it cannot help in any way in controlling teenage pregnancies, because children are not supposed to be forced into this kind of acts, but also really trying to vaccinate these children or giving them those kind of contraceptives, including the pills, the injectable ones, and also those that are consumed orally. Those are not really needed for children, but we should concentrate on the adults who are above 18 years, who know the implication of some of these drugs that they're using, but okay, those family planning methods, especially the contraceptives that they are using, so that they will be able to respond, or they'll be able to run to the health facility based on the understanding or the reaction of some of these kind of things, okay, the methods they are using, because the choice of a child may not be the right of the child, okay, and that is where Lucia Kello, the woman member of parliament for Amuru district, is coming up from. And from that point of view, so many parliamentarians reacted, and also people outside reacted. You realize that some of the people are saying it is against also the church doctrines, okay. The churches do not really allow the use of contraceptives, and abstinence is the best way, but also avoiding child-to-child sex could be best when we take these children to school and make sure that most of their time is taken out by studies, okay. That is one thing some of the people are saying, but others are saying that it is not really worth, okay, looking at some of the issues that are coming up with technological changes and also most of these other issues. But we need to ensure that we engage in parental guidance, ensuring that children learn a lot of things ahead, as they're teaching reproduction, where some of the teachers want to take the whole term emphasizing those sexuality kind of things under that topic. They should be able to play dramas and also make sure that children understand the implication of some of these kind of things, especially having sex at early age, also introducing them to poems, and also doing a lot of things with the MDD, okay, music, dance, and drama, making sure that children are taken up and their mind is not idle. Most of the children who engage themselves in sexual intercourse are the children who are lousing and moving into the streets, or really are not really catered for by their parents, but also they have that idle mind that has not been really made active, okay, by different activities. Parents need to ensure that at home you have any activity that keeps the children at your home, but also making sure that wherever they are going, if they are going to play football, they should be able to move with their elder brothers and sisters, and making sure that they report home timely. You should have a timetable at your homes. Many of the parents have forgotten about their pie chart, okay? You need to have that round drawing. At this time, we should be able to come home and do this. At this time, children, your activities are these ones. The one of the mother is this one. Me as the father, I have these responsibilities that I'm going to be undertaking. But also making sure that you do your homework at this time, making sure that this is your time for play, this is your time for household activities, and so on. That makes the children understand that there's need for me to do something to develop our home. And they will not have that time to go out and visit their loved ones, okay? Now children are having boyfriends, girlfriends, just because we have kept them lazy at home and they cannot do anything. And that's where really some of these issues are coming from. But it is still a point of discussion in Parliament if this is brought back, okay? If this is brought back in the subsequent sittings, that means there's something the parliamentarians are trying to understand. And they said they are actually shocked to see that even after the pandemic, the cases of teenage pregnancies are still shooting up instead of reducing amidst so many things that are done by partners. I will take an example with the refugee hosting districts. There are so many partners that are venturing into livelihood support, but also reproductive health services. And we will talk about Plan International, we'll talk about others like Winto, like World Vision, and many others that are doing this kind of campaigns. Talk about Maristops, that is also doing the same, and also Reproductive Health Uganda. But we have seen this kind of activities taking place, but I don't know if a research was conducted about the use of contraceptives being a long-lasting remedy for children to stop conceiving. So many of testimonies that we have gathered from some of the girls from the refugee hosting districts indicate that the girl child may choose to take the pills, okay? After consuming the pills, you will realize that at some point, the boy child will say, no, I don't want the use of that thing, okay? Or even use of condoms is not okay with it. Let's do it just like that, okay? It is just one sort. You realize those kind of things tend to divert these children. They even leave the pills that they are moving with. Even if we provide those kind of things and make sure that every boy child moves in the pocket with the condoms, they will say, no, we don't enjoy sex when we are having condoms. And those are some of the things that have been really coming up. And sometimes they even say it was abrupt. I was just caught up abruptly. I didn't know, I could not have time to go and pick it. And some of those things have really continued to remain as barriers in fighting teenage pregnancies, but also already mothers being children, okay? But amidst all this, what are those things that we can do apart from really talking about we need contraceptives, we need family planning methods? We have been having nothing like condoms in the early years, 1990s, up to where HIV came. Before HIV, we had nothing like condoms used and so on. And that's why in Western region, Western has been one of the worst regions that is performing, okay? That is performing in terms of the contraceptive use. We are at 6%, okay? We're at 6%. Looking at the recent statistics released by Uganda Demographic Health Survey report, and you realize that this really has a long-lasting impact in terms of looking at some of the break-ins of the statistics, you realize that access to reproductive health services, talk about the contraceptives, is made easier by some of the organizations even having their offices at some of these districts, but also outreach programs are there. But the turnout of people for this kind of services is very low. That means even if we have a law, even if we don't have a law about this kind of things, people will continue to use or not to use contraceptives. It is dependent of individual perception. So that is one thing we need to understand, because when this person is going for the sexual intercourse, there will be nobody witnessing whether they are putting on condoms, whether they are already using the pills. It is not there. Whether we have the law or we don't have, people will get pregnant. So what we need to emphasize is the use of these other preventive measures instead of using some of these family planning methods, okay? Talking about delaying the time of these children by taking them to school, but also ensuring that they are under the strict supervision of the parents, the school administrators, the community taking up their role, but also government, making sure that children are kept busy. Fund the schools in order to facilitate the co-curricular activities. Introduce more activities in schools so that children love going to schools, okay? And also ensure that the structures are so conducive. You have dilapidated structures and children fear when it starts to rain, children fear to be in the classroom. They better opt to run home than being at school. And that is one thing children fear most. And all of us, as we celebrate this day of disaster reduction, we should be able to look at some of those things that are able to make us proud to prevent this kind of disasters, and also make sure that we are comfortable in where we are working. Even if your workplace, the building is dilapidated, you will not be having comfort. When it is raining, you will always feel like we need to close services and we'll run home, okay? And that is quite dangerous, because there are some people, amidst the rain, they need the services. Talk about banking services, talk about even offices. They need to be open. Even if it is rain, whether there's no rain, as long as it is that time for service, it should be open to public. And those are some of the things. Providing good accommodative environment for these children is very, very important. Remember, most of these girl child now face challenges from the boy child, because we have turned away from the boy child. Educating or empowering the boy child, we have so much focused on the girl child instead of looking at both sides equal. Okay, we have seen some of the things that are done for the girl child are not done for the boy child. Look at the vulnerable boy child who wants to go to university. He has no free point that is awarded by government, but the government has already put a free point already there waiting for the girl child at A level. Okay, that is one of the injustices that we need to fight if we want to achieve the goal of equity. But also looking at these children being at large and really not being controlled in terms of having child-to-child sex, but also sexual exploitation by those who have at least money in their hands. We need to really venture into ensuring that parents are empowered economically. One of the ways is the formation of societies, okay, which government is already undertaking, but we need to also look at the financing the societies, the cooperatives, and also making sure that the circles that we have under different government programs, including the PDM, including the Myoga, including different other presidential initiatives, even the presidential initiative for banana, which is just lying idle. I saw that office there in Kampala. It is there, but we have not seen some of the impacts of some of these kind of presidential initiatives. But we need to ensure that parents are engaged into economically viable projects, and they are able to have money in their hands, so that they are able to provide all the necessities for these children to go to schools, but also to have a better life. Because a poor parent will not afford to raise a brighter child, because now that education is much privatized, and privatization comes with the economic impact. The economic value that is attached is the issues to do with income equality. Okay, do you have the money at hand? That is one thing. Even if you have food, you will not sell this food to get money, because if you have produced the food on small scale, once you sell part of it, that there will be looming hunger, and all of you will be vulnerable. So that means we need to have the parents engaged in economically viable projects, maybe poultry, piggery, besides the agriculture, which is mostly farming. Okay, farming in terms of people planting crops and rearing some of the animals, but animals reared for commercial purposes, animals that have shortest period of breeding, that are able to multiply very fast, is what we should be able to look at in order to really make sure that parents are able to put this girl child, this boy child on a better scale in terms of comparing them with other children. There are moments the boy child starts to experience changes, okay, when the boy is starting to see that wet dream coming, but also changing the voice from to okay, those are some of the things we need to look at. When these voices begin to change, we need to look at what are the needs of this boy child. One, the boy child needs sexual education. The boy child needs sexual education because even a boy child will feel like the mother is very young, okay, is very little to him. He can even box her. When food is not ready at a convenient time, he can shout on the parents. And those are the things we need to cap down. Those are things you can witness when the boy child is experiencing adolescent stage. So we need to come in very fast. We have seen some of the mothers testifying that even the boy child who is just 15 years, you are the one who gave birth to this child. The boy child is saying, "Mom, I am not eating greens today. I need meat." Okay? Those kind of things come because we have not taken the initiative to empower the boy child, but also to make sure that the boy child is given that sex education. We tend to talk about the girl child and emphasize on the menstruation things. Your breast is shooting, you need this, you need this. We provide all those sanitary pads, okay? Provide for them those kind of necessities, but the boy child is going dry. Okay, those are some of the things we need to focus on instead of really talking about contraceptives, what and so on. If we cannot address the issues to do with mind, okay, the mindset of the children, the communities, we will not even if we have the laws, we will not achieve the target of eliminating teenage pregnancy in Uganda. That's one thing we need to really look at. And also this boy child needs a lot of support. When the boy's voice has started changing, as the father, as the mother, you need to separate the rooms right away and make sure that this boy child doesn't move also alone. If the boy child is left to move alone, he or she may grab any girl on the streets and have sex with. And that's why you have these issues of rape, these issues of boys going, okay, they at that point they become energetic, and you realize that this boy child goes there and starts fighting. They feel like, okay, they are always agitated. They feel like they are big because their voices have become bold. Okay, those deep voices, they feel like they are beyond even the dad. And we need to really make sure that the boy child is catered for in all the interventions that we're doing. As a country, it is very, very important that we'll venture into some of these kind of things. There are so many countries that have taken it up and also make sure that the gender equality does not mean gender quantity, okay? The gender quantity is different from gender quality. Quality comes with the products that you are really bringing up. But if we are talking about gender equality, we should look at both sides equally. Whereas we are talking about sex education for the girl child, as we are advocating for sanitary pads, and we are advocating for sanitary facilities being improved, the boy child needs equally some of these kind of things. But also sex education is very important. We have seen some schools not having senior male teachers, senior women teachers. This is a department at school level that looks at some of those kind of things. If a boy is moving and the girl child is ahead and the boy is slapping the bumps of the girl, that means these people are trying to connect some dot. Okay, you need to look at that and emphasize the issues of sexuality and talk about some of these things, what the implication will be for them at a school level, but also at home. When the girls go to fetch firewood or they go and bring water, you see some of the boys going to stage somewhere. They hide themselves. They begin shouting, calling these girls, or even sometimes they start to abuse them when even the girl doesn't know these boys. And those are some of the characters that come from an adolescent boy. But if you cannot look at both sides And we say every time, girl child empowerment, women empowerment, but we are leaving out the boy child who is going to be the parent of this girl. We are tapping it wrong. We are moving away from the aspirations of Uganda having equity in gender equality, okay, and also really having that gender balance. We have seen so many documents written by Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development about promotion of girl child education, about promotion of girl this, about women this, but boy child, nowhere. I don't know which ministry is going to take that up, but I feel it is still Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. But we need to look at all those aspects in order to have a better future for Uganda. If we have all teenagers having children, then we will not have any other person that will be believing in, that will be running to, because we will have all dwarfs. Okay, children producing children. A lot of pygmies will be running around, a lot of dwarfs, a lot of mental ill persons, a lot of people who are dull, a lot of malnourished people moving around with gray hairs, with the protruding stomach, and so on. That is where the state will be, the state of the population we are raising will be. Even if we are counting trillions of people in Uganda, we will not have that quality of services delivered, because all these are delivered by people who are not really having the quality that we want to deliver for the country. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be able to move to understand other issues that are happening in the country. Remember, the issues that we are seeing now are very, very touchy. Let's take a break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. We are the passion you've been waiting for! It's Junior It's our league, our football, our boys, our style. Start Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it! What a finish to Master Fukume! The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times.
The Star Times UPL, our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
The passion you've been waiting for! It's Junior
It's our league, our football, our boys, our style. Star Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish for Master Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times.
The Star Times UPL. Our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, we're back from that commercial break. Earlier on, we are discussing the issues to do with the proposal by the parliamentarians, okay, the MPs of the Republic of Uganda. Yesterday sat and really proposed that we should start rolling out contraceptive use for children under the age of 15 years. And that is one thing that we are really deliberating on. Is it something that you concur with? Is it something that you are also okay with it, okay? Or what are your opinions about this? Because that is still a proposal. Every opinion is catered for in this. As this being a proposal, there's still room for consultations. There's room for every kind of concern that you have about the delivery of this kind of message, but also understanding what could be the challenge, or how do we bridge the gap that exists within service delivery in terms of preventing the concerns that come around teenage pregnancies, and also many other issues that are sexually agitated and also that are brought about by child-to-child sex. Are we not promoting sex among the children if we start giving this kind of family planning methods to children? Because people will be, children will be aware that now that I have this maybe insectable contraceptive on my on my shoulder, or maybe I've swallowed the pills, it is a virgin ground for us to play sex, okay? Those are some of the things that may promote sex among the children. And this is a crime, okay? If you look at the 2016 Children Act, as I mentioned, it really clearly bars children from involving into sexual intercourse. And any person who is also trying to engage children, maybe if you're an adult and you decide to impregnate a child, you are committing a crime. But also child-to-child sex is also another crime. The children can be taken up for remand, okay, to serve a term. And that is one thing we need to know. I don't know if the MPs were able to revisit the law, or they have amended some of those subsections or sections that are really in line with this topic that they're talking about. Remember, the contraceptive use among children is one thing that will be promoting sex among the children. And much as we are looking at the other side of the coin, the increase in cases of teenage pregnancy, but we should be mindful that the law is very clear that there should be nothing like promotion of sex among the children, because it is a criminal. Okay, it is very criminal. But also, if an adult engages in sexual intercourse with a child, it becomes a capital offense, and this person can be charged for life imprisonment, or you can be put behind bars, or you can serve a jail term. But beyond the jail term, you are able to, you are expected to pay 120 currency points, which is an equivalent of 2.4 million Ugandan shillings. Or you can pay, you can serve both sentences based on the gravity of the offense. And this is something we need to really understand. I hope the MPs go back to the drawing board. They are able to understand or internalize some of those laws, because those are not laws that are from me, but also not from the public, but they are from the parliament that are really sat down and said we need to have this. But if we are the one breaking the law ourselves, it is also quite unfortunate. That means whatever we are debating in the caucus, in the parliament, during the sessions, is something of joke. Okay, that is something I will rate to be a joke. If we're saying we're maybe amending laws based on what we feel we need to benefit from, and we saw UNFPA trying to talk about this kind of concern, but we will not really dive so much into that. Remember, yesterday we had the International Day of the Girl Child, and there are so many stakeholders who have given their version about what is around the girl child, and what challenges they have faced in nurturing the girl child, and what about the funding gaps. Remember, one of the districts that I really visited and really had an interaction with the leadership is Madiokolo district. Currently, every financial year, the Community Services Department that deals with the issues of children, the issues of women, the issues of the youths, and the elderly, including the persons with disabilities, annually receives a variable amount of money from the Ministry of Finance, that is between 2 million and 3 million every financial year. Tell me what this person can be able to do with this kind of money. Okay, 2 million, 3 million, this is from government. The implementing partners, that is a World Food Program, is able to finance, actually UNHCR is able to finance the district with 180 million Ugandan shillings. So in the full financial year, you know that there are 3 quarters in a financial year. And that means there's a lot that this kind of department has to do. You have extension workers, including the CDOs at sub-counties, and beyond the sub-county, you have women, secretaries for women affairs, secretaries for children affairs, and so on, and many of them at village level who are supposed to be facilitated to do their work, responding to gender-based violence cases, responding to violences against children, responding to so many other things. But you have 2 million, and you're supposed to use it for 12 months. 2 million in 12 months. This could be a budget of a Blonia taking an outing for one day. And you realize that this serves the entire district. A district that has 7 sub-counties. A district that has 1,000 something villages. What will you have to do with this kind of thing? And that's where we want to really move into. Let's move to the production department and see if we can be able to get those comments from the district leaders about the challenges they are facing in nurturing the girl child, but also getting the interventions right and implementing some of the laws regarding the mistreatment of the girl child and the children generally, in terms of raising them in the best way that the country would want to see. Thank you.
Work plan. You realize this is a very small amount which cannot cater for the different needs. In my sector, we do a number of activities. We do case management, we follow up cases, I mediate issues of children in conflict with the law, and it is there are a number of activities. They need a lot of follow-up movements and engaging community members. We do preventive measures, doing community sensitization programs, And all this calls for a number of the expenditure line becomes very huge. So this in most cases calls for a lot of sacrifice. But however, it is meant for a number of activities. Usually it is fractured into two, for activities that are geared to prevent abuse and other harmful practices against the children. Then there are also other activities that are for part of the money is used for response activities. Those are now issues like case management. A case has happened, it needs reintegration, it needs follow-up, it needs to be referred, and those other issues. Maybe a child has gotten lost, a child is disadvantaged to be raised in a home, now needs alternative care service, and those areas. So that's what that, but it has a list of activities ranging from training of the social service workforce, both that are recruited in the government structure and also those that are voluntary. For example, we have voluntary structures like parasocial workers. They are typically volunteers. We also have part of the fund is to build their capacity so that they can support us at the lower level to manage some of these minor cases. There are some cases at their level which they can manage and follow up. Yes, 89 plus 2 million, that is not really sufficient enough. It's not big enough to manage the different issues that are affecting children. However, with the little, we'll try our best to implement and also account effectively, because when we account, it will attract for us more fund. The most visible violence against children in the district is child neglect. Neglecting children, parents abandoning their roles and leaving children just to roam. That is very common, and the roles parents have declined in their roles in many occasions. That is the lead. Then the zeroing to teenage pregnancy and child marriage. Our girls, by average, they get married at the age of 15. By 15, and by 15, most of them are still in primary, P4, P3, they are still there. So they usually delay studies and education. And that's the challenge they face. Teenage pregnancy comes second. Then also these are the cases where children are beaten, physical abuse and assault on children and others. But in lead, we have child neglect, then child marriage and teenage pregnancy. These are the major violences that are perpetrated against the children. Yes. Last financial year, we were able to register 600 cases of teenage pregnancy and children who are taken up for marriage, 600 of them. Then cases of neglect, we had around 700 of them. Yes. Then those are other minor cases. They ranged from 200 and 300.
Today in Madokolo, the caliber of children that we have, for them to be lucky is by chance. Our children have taken on hopeless life that cannot take some of them very far. You can remember during the COVID and post-COVID period, Madokolo was among the leading districts in West Nile in early child pregnancies. We registered close to 5,000 or 7,000 girls who were impregnated in about 2 years' time, which was so alarming. So, those are because of parental challenges. Our parents of today are not so close to their children. The parents of today, they don't give guidance to their children. The parents of today, they sleep separately from their children. So it makes the children not to sleep at home. In most cases, during market days, you see them loitering on the streets. These were the words we were using to those children to make sure that we change their mind to concentrate on studies so as to attain higher level of education. As a society, there is general decay in the family setup. General decay in family setup. Just as I said, the parents have, the man has abandoned the responsibility of running home to the wife. It is the ladies who struggle to talk to their children. And in most cases, the children do not take mother's word seriously. And besides, the type of innovations that have come in the society, during our days, it was very rare for you to hear discourse. But this time around, discourse have become the order of the day, the order of the village, the order of society. As leaders, we have always been talking to our local government to suspend the issue of operating discourse. Nobody is listening. We have been advocating to the parents that no, keep these children under tight control. Let them for time being forego issues of going to the discourse. Nobody is listening. And this time, the father does not pay school fees. She leaves the responsibility of paying fees into the hands of the wife. You see a child failing to sit examination because of either 2,000 or 3,000 PTA fund, and they look at it being normal. And the children, when teachers say, now go and bring PTA in those schools which charges, the child goes, at times they don't now inform the father, they don't inform the parents, they just remain at home. These have been our challenges. Yes.
Okay. This calls for a lot of coordination with the different stakeholders so that we can have lasting solutions to prevent some of these. We are already strengthening our child well-being coordination meeting with the partners who come on board so that we discuss more on how we can respond better to address some of these challenges that the children are facing in one way or the other. Yes.
All right, you have been able to see what has happened at local level. Looking at the statistics that the leaders who are directly dealing with the children have been able to release. Remember, Madiokolo district last financial year recorded over 700 cases of neglect of children, but also looking at the statistics that our members of parliament are being feeling like they are. It is quite the biggest. Talking about the issues of teenage pregnancy, it came number second, which has 600 cases that were registered about teenage pregnancy last financial year. This is from Madiokolo district. And what does this call for? Do we prioritize the use of contraceptives for children other than really engaging the parents into really doing their own work? Okay, that is the thing that we need to really now talk about. We saw those kind of proposals coming, and yet groundwork has not been done. There's no authentic statistics that the MPs are relying on, apart from the Uganda Demographic Health Survey report, which is only talking about the issues to do with teenage pregnancies. But the aspect of parental guidance and nurturing the children, what is it that the gap is? They did not focus on it, and yet you have seen the cases of neglect of children being the biggest issue. And clearly you will hear from, you heard from the district chairman, that is Dramadri Federick, who clearly indicated that most of the children opt out of school at the age of 15, and this finds them within the lower classes, lower primary classes, that is P3, P4, P5, around there. And this is because most of the rural persons delay children from going to school, but also looking at the issues of a financial stand of every family in the rural setup. Many people are poor, many people only dig for consumption. They don't think about making money out of the sweat that they are doing. They are always having at the time of work, digging, planting, all those things. They don't focus about commercial agriculture, and this is where we need to move to. And also really moving to the issue of focusing on contraceptive use. We rather now prioritize the use or the issues of parenting very, very seriously in the country, instead of looking at these short-term remedies that cannot last for long, because this same parent will continue to produce more children, and if he abandons them, neglects them, where will you get the access to make sure that these children, all of them are given vaccines, all of them are given contraceptives, all the boys walk on the streets with the condoms in their pockets? Where will you get all that time to make sure that these children are facilitated with this kind of contraceptives that you're advocating for? So we need to move to parenting. That is very, very important. Talking about that issue of the neglect of children being the rampant case in Western region, looking at a case study conducted in Mariokolo district, talking about those statistics that were given. They were given by the probation and welfare officer, a department that concerns the rights and the responsibilities of each stakeholders in engaging and raising children in the rightful way. And he really guided also that we need to really venture much into financing this kind of department in order to have more community engagements, in order to change the mindset of the community, but also making sure that all the stakeholders are able to do their due activities, responsibilities that are assigned to them. Some of the responsibilities were assigned by God, some of them were assigned by the nation or the constitution, and also some of them are things that you can do at your home. Having a timetable for your home is very, very important. It doesn't mean that you are too strict. You want each and every person to be really doing his or her part, and that is very, very important. But also the issues of family separation is another thing that we need to look at. There are moments people want to fight over children. Once the mother feels like, I want to go to my place, and wants to collect all the children and wants to go with them, and that she cannot afford to feed these children, and that she cannot afford to maybe educate them, even put them the basic necessities, talk about clothing, medication, and many other things. This is where the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development has come up with what we call the best interest of the child, advocating for the best interest of the child. If the child feels like, I'm okay with staying with my father, the child should be given to the father, and the father should be able to do the rightful things, given that he or she is able to provide the basic needs. Talk about education, health, and many others, okay? Medication, giving food on time, giving the chance for the child to play, and having association with other colleague children. That is another thing that you need to really focus on. But also looking at some other things, and if you look at that guideline right now, which has been reduced about parenting guidelines, you will realize that inside at some chapter there, it is indicated that all those who are going to take care of the children should be people who have at least the sound mind. They have the ability of having a stable income level, okay? If you want to stay with the children alone, if you are the father who wants to be with the children, you should be able to have a stable income level. You should be able to sustain the family and make sure that the basic needs in your home are all at par. But also it doesn't stop the parents from visiting all these children at any place. Even if you have gone with my son to your place, I have the liberty to go and visit my child. Okay, you should not deny a chance for the mother or the father to see his or her child, and that is one of the guidelines. And it is against the law. If you deny it, somebody can sue you, because the child belongs to him or her, and that is one thing we need to know. And also, looking at the age, people used to say that a child is given to the father after maybe a divorce to the father. The child is given after 7 years, and ministry has pronounced itself about this and ruled off all those kind of things, and said as long as the father is able to care for this child, the child should be able to be given to the child, the father. And looking at the environment, the environment where the child is going to stay plays a key role. For instance, if your home is where they are selling inguli, they are selling alcohol, they are dancing all this, that is not the best place for the child to be. If the home is where people are quarreling every time, they are abusing each other, the food is eaten by chance but not by choice, that is where the child is not supposed to go. That means even if with the breast you have, but you have the bad behavior as the mother, the child will be withdrawn from you, and the father can take care of the child by giving the child milk. That is one of the things that has been really clearly pronounced there. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be able to move into the issues of malaria interventions, but also the country registering high prevalence, and that is where we'll be coming for the last segment. Let's take a break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
We are the passion you've been waiting for! It's Yunus Junior Santamo! It's our league, our football, our boys, our style. Start Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish from Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times.
The Star Times UPL. Our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, we're back from that discussion to do with nurturing children. Remember, today we have been shocked that Uganda records at least 100,000 malaria cases every actual malaria deaths every year. And this is one thing that is really shocking the nation, but also shaping a lot of discussions across the world. Remember, Uganda is ranked number 3rd in the world in terms of malaria surge, and this is really one thing that we have to intervene and really look at the interventions that we are really driving at eradicating the cases of malaria prevalence, but also having putting an end to the prevalence if it is not put into an end. but we can prevent, reduce the numbers, and this is where we need to move forward. And we have seen a lot of issues to do with distribution of mosquito nets, and when this program is rolled out, many people miss out. We see LCs, some of the VSTs, LCs parting away with some of the mosquito nets. Some of them hide these mosquito nets in their rooms instead of giving to the community. And because of this rain, there is a lot that is also going on in terms of accumulation of water in the environment. Okay, everywhere on at the homesteads, we see drainage channels blocked and so on. Water accumulates. Improper disposal of plastics also really giving a lot of room for mosquitoes to breed. But this is one thing we need to now move into, educating the people. I saw last week there was an engagement, training trainers who are going to conduct dialogues in the communities in Western region. This was conducted, this 3 days training was conducted by different partners, and top on this was the media. The media personalities were also trained, and unfortunately few were called. I don't know if the message will be able to move very far. It is good that if you're able to engage all the media houses, instead of looking at 2 or 3 radio stations in the region and failing to really bring up all media houses for a common good, because whatever you do little is best preached by the media personalities, and that's where I really fault the organizers of this kind of event. And the one who was championing this was Arua City Health Department, especially the department that deals with entomology. Okay, they are looking at the issues of the flies, the mosquitoes, and so on, the vectors, and so on, the vector control department, and so on. And that's where really focus needed to be turned if you want to reach so many people. Instead of training them and everything remains there, it doesn't help. We need to disseminate the information out. We need to preach it. We need to really show people that these are the gaps that exist, and this is the responsibility of the community, because malaria is actually a disease at community level. It is not something that is like COVID-19 that came from somewhere and just boom like that, but it is something that is within the community. Community members can really do something in order to move the nation away from the number 3 to at least the rock bottom, where we at least be able to see a glimpse of people living the whole year without being attacked by malaria disease, which is spread by the female Anopheles mosquitoes. And those mosquitoes are very, very dangerous. You know, females sometimes they have issues. Okay, the female animals they carry a lot of things, and that's where really we need to turn our focus into. And we have seen the country saying that they are already venturing into product manufacturing of genetically modified male mosquitoes. Okay, these male mosquitoes are expected to be the ones that will be confusing the female Anopheles mosquitoes, and make sure that these male mosquitoes are able to have come into sexual intercourse with I don't know if they call it sexual intercourse, but they meet with the female Anopheles mosquitoes, and the eggs will not fertilize. And that is what the country is moving towards having that technology of multiplying the genetically modified mosquitoes, okay, the male mosquitoes. So by 2033, we expect that we'll be having male mosquitoes that are manufactured within the country by genetically modifying the activities of the male mosquitoes that were initially there existing, but breeding them making sure that the reactivity series that they have will not really have any impact in the reproduction of the female Anopheles mosquitoes, and also multiplication of the mosquito population in the country. But also still not only focusing on eliminating the population of mosquitoes, we have to also venture so much into the preventive measures. There are some of the genetically modified mosquitoes may not spread the whole country at once, but we have those other by 2030 may not be achieved, because some of the interventions that we are bringing up are still going to be by 2033. That means we will be able to extend this period of 2030 that we have been advocating for. But also looking at some of the issues to do with changing the mindset, and also other interventions like mosquito net distribution, having other interventions that have been externally financed, talking about the entoresidual spray that the country has been using it, and many people believe that it has not been effective and has not achieved its target. Looking at the Uganda Demographic Health Survey report of 2022, you realize that Western region, which had which did IRS, that is entoresidual spray, the chemicals being sprayed in people's rooms and so on. Some of them were taken to office spaces and so on. This has not achieved its target because it eliminated or reduced malaria burden in 2 months. But after 2 months, malaria cases kept shooting up to where we have reached. And this is where we need to turn our focus. We need to leave some of the interventions that are not sustaining, that are not really achieving the targets we want, that are not really doing enough in as far as malaria reduction is concerned. But also talking about the mosquito net distribution exercise. We have seen so many leaders taking advantage of this and keeping some of these mosquito nets, and they decide to bring them on streets and selling them. And these are some of the things that we have witnessed here in Arua City happening live on a day, broad daylight. And if you go right now on the streets and look at and stay along Duka Lane, you will see people selling mosquito nets, and that are having the country's logo. You have the flag which is put there, not for sale and so on, written on it. But you see people selling these kind of things, including blankets that were donated for people who needed some of those kind of support, especially in the vulnerable persons of concern, that are those are the refugees. So many of these things come and they end up in the markets. So this is where we need to really focus on. If our interventions are supposed to have impact, if our interventions are expected to yield fruit, and the money we inject in them, we want to see value for them, we have to really do a lot in terms of looking at the interventions at the implementation stage. How are they being implemented? How about after implementation, or maybe distributing these mosquito nets? what happens after. Are people using them? Are people not using them? How properly are they using them? Is one thing we need to focus. We have seen so many people using the mosquito nets, converting them into ropes, converting them to constructing houses, especially the grass dust, roofing them, and also having tomatoes raised on trees using the ropes from mosquito nets. And these are things that frustrate the efforts in curbing down the malaria prevalence. And losing 10,000 people every year is something that is great, because we have a population of 45 million people across Uganda, and this is where we need to really do a lot if we want to have the quality of the population that we are raising, if we want to really see the economic importance of having a bigger population. There are countries that have big population, but they have good quality of the population is giving them returns in terms of improving service delivery, is in terms of also really raising the economic value of the countries. Okay, that is one thing some of the countries are doing now. But if you have a quantitative population with the poor output, we will not really move any further. We are not any better as a country, as a nation, in terms of service delivery, in terms of the quality of the population. We will continue to cry for foreign aid, much as we have the nerve to say that we can stand alone. We will continue to demand or rely on foreign aid or donor support, because we have not really made sure that our population is of value, of economic importance, is of great attachment towards the development of this country. But also all those interventions that will be gearing towards changing the people, their mind, their word, and so on, will not come to a fruitful kind of thing that we will have as long as we have a population that does not have quality. Okay, having quality means if we are able to treat malaria or stop it at initial stages. Or research has proven that children who have been having or having complications at a primary stage. Primary stage is where a child is below 5 years, has been affected by so many diseases. The child will not have that clear mental development, because this child is always on drugs. This child is always on injections and those kind of other kind of drugs that are being administered. A child is not well fed. A child is not well catered for in terms of the basic needs. You will not have a quality kind of population that you want to raise in this nation. And that really marks the end of the Thursday edition of the Kokoliriko show. Remember, for you to access West Nile TV, you just only need to come to Arua City. You'll be able to come via the Weatherhead Park Lane on plot number 39A, room number A, and that's where you'll be able to see West Nile Television. And at the gate, you have it boldly written that West Nile Television, and that's where you'll be able to locate us. And the reception is so good, you'll be able to access so many people who will be able to usher you in with all that we have for you here. And those who want to advertise their goods, their products, their services with us, you can really move to your email to have those official communications. And you can just type West Nile TV station at gmail.com, and that's where you'll be able to reach to the persons of concern, persons dealing direct with those kind of things. If you have any complaint, if you have any concern, if you have any idea that you want to sell to the station, you can reach to the management through those lines. But also, you can be able to follow us on the YouTube channel, and follow this kind of show that is engaging, talking about the topical issues that are of interest in the nation, and also looking at the development aspirations of this country. Where should we find ourselves? That is where we want to really bring all this to you. And as Western Television, we're lighting up the region. We're making sure that every voice of the voiceless is heard, and every voice that is there mandated to do all that it takes to give the rights and responsibilities that people want to achieve should be able to deliver. We'll be bringing those persons to respond to those concerns from the community through this platform. That's why we are here with the vision of lighting the region. But also behind the camera is a producer, actually is Dijon Pro, who is a very, very interesting man in terms of controlling the quality of the video output that you'll be able to see. And also the producer behind there is producer Aldo, and you'll be able to reach them anytime. If you want to meet them, you can come to Western Television. You'll be able to have those businesses you want to discuss with them, or you want maybe have weddings and so on, you can be able to reach them. They will be able to produce for you those nice clips, and that will remain in your memory for quite a long period of time. My name is Dramadri Federick. I'm out of the studios. Thank you for watching.